Coming up on The Sporting Chef.
Today on the show, I'm scraping bottom, cooking shrimp and another bottom feeder, flounder. But there's also Stacy, John McGannon, Cee Dub, Tommy Gomes, and Buddy's got a buddy.
What do you get when you find the best fish and game chefs? Cookbook authors, award winners, fishmongers, outdoor experts, and put them on the fastest half hour on outdoor television. Hosted by one of America's best-known wild game chefs, Scott Leysath, The Sporting Chef. Brought to you by Camp Chef, the way to cook outdoors.
If you are what you eat, and if you're very discriminating about eating the proper food, then here's another bottom feeder here. Here's another one that's fairly low on the food chain, shrimp. Flounder are actually bottom feeders. So people say that catfish are dirty fish because they're bottom feeders, but a lot of the catfish are eating out of very clean waters and not eating bottom stuff. So on the shrimp, by the way, I highly recommend that you get your shrimp from a reputable source. Mine is Catalina Offshore Products. You can find them online. It'll get you there overnight. One of the things I'm going to make today is a shrimp cocktail, but a very different shrimp cocktail. This is a Coctel de Cameron. It's a Mexican shrimp cocktail. And if you've ever taken these shells and thrown them away, don't do that. These shells make great flavor, make great stock. But let me show you about if you're going to do a pile of shrimp and you want to clean them up, first thing you do is you peel them all. You set them down side by side, and once you get a pile of them here, you just kind of blaze through them. Use your knife here. When you see the shrimp and you don't see that there's a dark vein in there, it's a digestive tract. And it's still there, but just because it's not black doesn't mean there's no digestive tract. It just means there's no poop in it. And while I'm removing the poop from the shrimp, and I'm sorry, Stacy, this is not a good segue for you, check out Stacy Harris. She has a sauce that's great on anything.
Today I'm going to be making a persimmon sauce. This sauce is fantastic over wild boar, pork, pheasant, grouse, any kind of upland bird. It is just a perfect sauce in my opinion. We're going to be using persimmons, and a lot of people don't really know what they look like. This is a Japanese persimmon. We plant these for our wildlife around our house, at our property, everywhere. I just cut them up into little tiny 1/8 inch cubes, and I'm going to pour that straight into my saucepan. These taste a whole lot like peaches, but they're a little bit more firm. Now this variety does not even have seeds, seedless variety. I love that because it's so much easier to cut. I'm going to put a 1/2 cup of sugar and a 1/2 cup of brown sugar into this sauce. I packed it in pretty good, okay? And then I'm going to put bourbon. I just have about 3 or 4 tablespoons of bourbon, some lemon zest. Now, all I'm doing is just taking the top layer of the lemon. I'm not getting to the white because the white, the pith is really bitter. This is just going to intensify the lemon flavor. Okay? Then I'm going to squeeze lemon into it. The lemon just gives it those high notes that balances out all of that sweetness. It gives that acidity, and it just really makes this sauce come together. In the sauce, we're looking for a puree consistency. It's going to take about 8 to 10 minutes for this to reduce down to get to that consistency. So hang in there and just keep stirring and watch football. Our sauce is reduced, so I'm going to turn the heat off. And I'm going to add butter. This is the most important step of this whole thing. This sauce becomes incredibly velvety and just incredibly luscious. Add each pat of butter separately and then let it melt, and then add the next pat of butter. I'm adding about a 1/2 stick altogether. All right, I think this sauce is done. I cannot wait to use it. This persimmon sauce is really excellent for upland game, feral hog, fish, you name it. It's probably going to be good on it. I'm going to add a pinch of salt here at the end, and I am finished with this incredibly luscious persimmon sauce.
And now that I've removed the poop from the shrimp, I'm going to make shrimp stock for my Coctel de Cameron. I have celery, carrot, onion, and you can use the onion parts with the onion skin in there, stuff that you'd normally throw away. The difference between making shrimp stock and making a beef or chicken stock or a game stock is that it only takes about 30 to 45 minutes. Cold water, just barely bring it to a boil. And while this is doing this, I want you to check out this other guy in another place far, far away. Okay, so you have a bag of chips or like these pretzel crisps here. In the pantry, what I normally find is bags that are not sealed. They're open, they don't seal the crackers, they don't seal the chips. Well, what's cool about having the Food Saver Game Saver unit here, this outdoorsman unit, is I can take a bag of pretzel crisps like this, even if they haven't been sealed properly, and keep them fresher than ever. I'm going to cut a straight line across with the scissors, and I'm going to put them into the channel, close the lid, lock it, seal, but I'm not going to seal it all the way. I'm just going to take a little bit of that oxygen out, and then I'm going to hit seal before it's all the way crunched, because if you can imagine, if you had a bag of potato chips in here and you sealed them with your Food Saver Game Saver, it would crunch up your potato chip. And with that seal, it's just like brand new again, and it keeps them from becoming stale. So here's a great way to make more use of your Food Saver Game Saver. Stay tuned for more with Shayna, Tommy, and a whole bunch more in just a couple of minutes. Welcome back to The Sporting Chef. I have a very special kind of shrimp cocktail. Now, before the break, I took the shells, celery, carrot, onion, and some cold water and made a stock out of it. It takes about 45 minutes. This is the strained stock that I poured through the colander to get out all the big chunks. And this is what I'm going to cook the shrimp in. Now, this is a lot of shrimp, and as soon as this just turns pink, it's done. If your shrimp is rubbery and tough and chewy, then the problem is you've cooked it too long. Isn't that a theme on this show? In this shrimp cocktail, one of the surprise ingredients, the one that it took me a while to figure out, is orange soda. I know, it sounds crazy. Okay, this is going to keep cooking here, and I got a bunch of other good stuff that goes into this. There's going to be onion, cucumber, tomato, avocado, but our next guest is Shayna Bane. And here's what's cool about Shayna. She's going to be doing a jalapeno sauerkraut, and you're going to love this sauerkraut board that she has. And you know, I think this was me helping her with this sauerkraut board in the Sporting Chef kitchen. But if you take this coupon here, can you read that coupon there? And you go to the Weston website and you order stuff, you get 25% off. Now, I'm not supposed to tell you this, so make sure you keep it a secret. Sporting Chef 15 is the coupon code to get you 25% off at Weston. Check out this recipe that I found on the Weston Products blog. That's blog.westonproducts.com. You're gonna love this. Sauerkraut. You know, you can buy it in the jar at the store. It's really, really simple to make. Look at this deal here. This is the Weston cabbage slicer. So this makes it really easy, and you don't have to worry about cutting your fingers off, because it's got this cool little safety deal here. You just slide it back and forth, and actually just the gravity, you don't have to press down on it, the gravity will get you there. Nice sharp blades. There's step one, shredded cabbage. Step two, salt. So the salt will release the acids in the cabbage, and the cool thing about this is it doesn't have to be refrigerated. Matter of fact, it's probably best not refrigerated, but you want to keep it in a cool place. Salt and cabbage, and again, if you go to that Weston Products blog, it will give you in detail, as if this requires any detail, how much or how little or how much of this jalapeno you should add. Now, I've left some of the seeds in the jalapeno, some of the core and some of the ribs in there just for heat. I like it to be a little bit on the hot side. If you don't like it so hot, don't use a lot of jalapeno. You could actually leave it out altogether if you like. All right, the next step, the wooden spoon. and you just want to mash. You want to hear that crunch. You want to break down the cabbage, because cabbage has a lot of liquid in it. So we want the liquid to come out, the salt to force the acids out. The jalapeno is going to make it spicy, and I'm just going to keep mashing for a little while. All right, you know what? It's more limp now, and I've got the Weston canning funnel. It's going to help me just pack everything in there. You want to pack it in good. You want to fill the mason jar. So you just want to make sure that it's packed and that you've got the liquid and the salt, and put a little bit on top. And I know what you're thinking. There's no way that this jar with just cabbage and jalapeno in it is going to turn into sauerkraut. You're wrong. Watch this. Now that's crazy, isn't it? That happened so fast. It actually takes about a week. And you can see all the liquid that has been taken out of that cabbage, and that's just with the salt and the fact that it's been sitting in a cool place. This is great on grilled sausages, hot dogs, anything that you would normally put sauerkraut on, and it's so much better if you make your own. And now back to that other guy. All right, it's time to make the Coctel de Cameron. I'm going to put a little shrimp stock in there, and you'll notice that this is very different than what you've known to be a shrimp cocktail in the past. Ketchup, pardon me, little Tabasco, orange soda. Valentina is one of my favorite hot sauces, and it's cheap. There's another one that I use in this all the time called Buffalo, and it has, oddly enough, a picture of a buffalo on it. Make that buffalo. Cucumber if you want, tomato, red onion, just a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, pepper, some of these shrimp. This goes into a martini glass. I'm going to put some avocado on top. While I'm working on the avocado, I want you to check out Tommy Gomes. Tommy's a regular, Catalina offshore products. Today, Tommy's using one part of the fish that most people don't eat.
I just want to touch base on an extremely underutilized piece of fish, and that is the infamous tuna head, okay? And the reason why I want to talk about this is simply because of the fact that this meat here runs all the way like this, up into here. And it's a beautiful piece of meat, and it'll give you a piece about this big around and this long, okay? And it's beautiful. You can barbecue this. You can put it on a smoker, okay? This is a great source of protein that's underutilized here in the States. A lot of the high-end Japanese restaurants will be serving this. This is beautiful. It's kind of like the collars. Before, nobody really wanted to do the collars until we started pumping it out there. So here's another one. Tuna heads, Tommy down here at Catalina. We'll see you next time.
Up next, Cee Dub, John McGannon, and Buddy's Buddy. Time to get a glass of Yellowhammer and come right back. Welcome back to The Sporting Chef. I'm Scott Leysath, cooking shrimp and another bottom feeder, flounder. Flounder, halibut, you've seen them, they're on the bottom of the ocean floor and they sit that way. And I want you to notice that I have my flounder fillets wrapped in 2-ply paper towels so that they're very, very dry. If I had wet flounder that I put into hot oil, something bad would happen when you put water into oil, and if you keep them dry in paper towels, it'll keep them tasting better longer. I'm going to play around with this. I'm going to season this fish here, but I want you to check out Cee Dub because at some point you're going to want dessert.
Okay, to satisfy that sweet tooth in camp, we're going to make you a quick little maple bar. And what we're using today, we're starting out with some frozen rolls. And we're going to put just a little bit of flour here on our board. Keep these from sticking, and we can mash them out, but I like to pull them out. So I'm pretty thin. We want these to cook all the way through. Along with our maple bars, we call these maple bars, we've made some homemade chocolate frosting. We're going to make some, show you how to make a quick little frosting that you can make in camp. Okay, our oil is hot. We're going to get a couple of these in, and we only want to do about 2 at a time. We're going to fry them on one side for about 30 to 40 seconds, flip them over, and then we'll drain them onto paper towels, and we'll make our icing. Could you put jam, jelly, anything on them? Yes, you could. We're going to use our homemade icing or frosting. What we're going to do, we've got some powdered sugar, a little bit of squeezed butter. Flavoring, our maple flavoring, we're going to use a little bit of Maybelline. We can use this stuff to make a homemade frosting in camp if we forgot it, so we're going to add just a little bit there. I'm going to say about a ½ teaspoon. We're going to mix that in, and then we're going to add just a little bit of milk. And be careful, probably a tablespoon. We can frost them. We're just going to take one. We'll start with our chocolate. And we'll get our other knife there, and we'll put our maple on. Okay, Scott, and there you have it, some maple bars and chocolate bars from a backwoods pastry shop, quick and simple to make.
Thank you, Cee Dub. With my flounder fillets, I've seasoned them liberally with high mountain taco seasoning, and I'm using masa flour, which I've used on the show before instead of regular flour. It's going to give the fish that tamale kind of corn tortilla type flavor. I'm just going to fry the fish until it is just golden brown. That's going to go onto a toasty corn tortilla. I've got a cool sauce to go with it. And here's a cool friend of mine, John McGannon, with a word about blood. John?
Okay, that's right, Scott. Dry aging isn't something that has to happen at a butcher or at a meat locker. You can actually introduce dry aging at any time. So there is hope. All that meat in the freezer, not a problem. If you pull it out, you defrost it nice and slow. And what you really want to do is to have it in as big a form as possible. The larger the piece, the longer you're going to expose it to dry aging. And the dry aging basically allows that capillary blood to drain out. You evaporate some of the internal moisture out of that muscle tissue, and then the fiber structure basically breaks down. So you have a tender and a delicate piece of meat. So all you really need is a rack, a hotel pan or a stainless steel sheet, and a refrigerator, and a little bit of time. And that time and effort will pay dividends in the long run.
Thank you, John. Now I think I know as much as I need to know about blood. This beer, the Yellowhammer Belgian White, is going to go great with these fish tacos. I've taken them, fried them until they're just golden brown, this flounder. Put them into some paper towels and then seasoned them liberally with more of the High Mountain Taco seasoning. I'm going to put it all together, make it look pretty, show you how I make this cool sauce that goes over the top. Great sauce for your fish tacos. Half yogurt, half sour cream, big squeeze of lime, your favorite hot sauce, and put it into a squeeze bottle. One of my favorite little fish taco sauces. Meanwhile, I want you to check out Buddy, Who's Got a Buddy, at the El Cid Resort in Mazatlan, who has another cool tip on what to do with your shrimp.
Okay, Scott, we're down here in Mazatlan. Our good amigo Luis is going to show you something I've never seen done with shrimp before. He's going to make a braid of these shrimp, so you don't need a skewer to cook them. What he's done is he's cut a hole in there. He's going to run the tail through each one of them. And it all holds together. Whenever it gets cooked, tail stand up. Very, very unique way of cooking shrimp. And you can do this any number of ways. This could be boiled, it could be cooked in a pan with butter. You can put it out on the pit. It don't matter which way you cook shrimp. If it's a good shrimp, it's gonna taste good. Now the only thing else we're gonna do to this, we're gonna hit it with a little high mountain season. This is some trail dust. Put it in this to get it down here, customs and all. Now that makes it perfect.
Stay with me till the end and I'll show you what this food should look like when you serve it to your friends. You know what goes good with fish tacos and shrimp cocktail? Yellow Hammer Belgian White. You can get this in Alabama and Tennessee if you're fortunate enough. I gotta actually get it when I'm in Alabama and Tennessee. I want to thank everybody that's been on the show today. We've got Stacy Harris, Shayna Bane, Tommy Gomes, Cee Dub, John McGannon, and then Buddy brought a buddy. Every week, we try and give you some new ideas on what to do with your fish and game here at The Sporting Chef, and a big round of applause to all of the sponsors that make that possible. Please check us out on all the social media outlets, and of course, sportingchef.com, and don't forget that Weston coupon, Sporting Chef 15. We'll see you next time.